Okay, we are back with video number 5. We are seeking to make you successful. That's our goal. We've been blessed to be a blessing. We're blessing you with the knowledge that these gentlemen have to help empower you to be a successful business owner. We've got Bob 2, Bob 1, Peter, and Grant, same team you've always seen. Bob, this one is called Market Research. Market research. Tell us about market research. The first point you have is, do you know your market? What's that mean?
Do you know your market? Do you know, for the business that you've chosen, do you know who else is in there doing that same business? Do you know who they are? Do you know how many there are? Do you know what they are selling their product for? Do you know the quality of the product they're selling? Basically, do you know your marketplace? Is there enough market for you to be able to add your business to what is going on, etc.? So we've talked about this a little bit, like in the slums, you're not going to be able to do a chicken business. So we're going to have to do maybe a pharmacy. Well, how many pharmacies can you stick and how close can they be to each other and still be successful? That would be the market research you need to do is okay, what is the demand? How much area do you think your business in particular can cover? And then if not, let's say right near where you are, you may have to find that you have to go to the next marketplace over from where you are because there is a better opportunity for you, and etc. And then you have to take on that responsibility of understanding that when you have your product and try to get it to market, how fresh it needs to be, and etc. to get there, etc. So
Grant, I live on basically Route 360. One exit up, all of a sudden they put in another Chick-fil-A. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh my gosh, every exit's going to have a Chick-fil-A. How does Chick-fil-A research where they're going to put in a new Chick-fil-A store?
There's a number of things they look at. They look at traffic patterns, right? So how much traffic is actually going by the restaurant. They look at population density, so how many people live within a certain radius. They look at the number of restaurants in your area, so what how many competitors do you have, not just items that are maybe completely different, but also items that are very similar to yours, right? And so in this case, how many other chicken farmers or chicken businesses are there within a certain radius? There's a lot of other things we look at too. Just we look at what the cry is for the people. So in other words, like, what do they want? What have people talked about? The types of restaurants that they've wanted in the area. So those are just a few things. There's some political things we have to look at too, like what is the average that we have to pay people in our area? What laws are in place that sort of create barriers to. So a good example with Peter was, he had an idea for a business, but there wasn't water, so it created a dilemma when he wanted to plant outside of the typical season, right? And so other resources in the area, all those things are things that Chick-fil-A looks at when putting in new stores.
So a good example of that, from what I understand, Peter, you tell me if you've heard differently, is if you do what we'll call a home business, chicken business, you don't have to worry about any reporting of that. But if your business were to get fairly large and etc., and it got noticed, my understanding is they do have government agencies that may get involved, that may have some sort of taxation of this, that, and the other that come into play. So it's that, the idea of it being a home business is very important. If it seemed to be a commercial type business, as we say, totally different rules.
Yeah, because commercial, you have to do the registration with the local authority. When the business gets bigger and maybe it is impacting the environment in one or the other, then there is a body that we call NEMA, National Environment Management Association or Authority. It will come in place. So if your business is impacting the environment in one way or the other, but we are talking of home-based, business or quote-unquote cottage industry. And there are some of these bridges that we cross them as time comes. So if the business is getting bigger to an extent that it is attracting such registration, then you do them at that time. But right now, I don't think that we are talking of business that is calling for such registrations. Of course, if you are talking about pharmacy, then whosoever is the proprietor of that business must have letters or authority from what we call PPB, Pharmacy and Poisons Board. If they don't have that one, then they are going to attract the wrong arm of the government, to come and fight with them. So these are some of the structures that we need to look at. Yeah.
Bob, the second thing that you talk about in market research is, do you understand their needs?
Yeah, Grant touched on this. This is kind of listening to your customer and trying to find out exactly what is it they're asking for. Are they asking for a certain type of product, a certain amount of product, etc., and whether that you understand that, and whether you can basically, for lack of better terms, find yourself a niche to work where you may be the number one person in that particular little market segment. So it can be, eggs. It could be that they're looking for full chicken. What is the market that you're in? What are they literally looking for? And what, more importantly, is what can they really afford? Okay, we all have needs. I have needs. Doesn't necessarily mean that I can pay for those. And what I want and what I can have, or sometimes many or two different things. So you kind of got to know that. You got to know the economics of the market that you're in and what those needs are. You try to meet the need, okay, and that's how you can be more successful with your business.
Peter, in America, there's a whole denomination that it's not really a denomination, it's a movement called the Seeker-Sensitive Church. But the way they started out was by going door to door. What do you not like about church? What would you want in a church? And they went from door to door and knocked and did thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of surveys to determine how they were going to set up the church for the needs of the people that they were marketing to. And I think this applies to the business.
It does.
Finding out what their needs. You got it there. Do you understand their needs?
Yeah. Which kind of feeds into the second one or the next one down with what you're saying, which is what you're saying. Where do they live? Okay. He literally said that they would knock on their door and meet that customer in their own home and ask them what their needs were and what need to be met. You're not going to find all your customers in a marketplace necessarily, especially when you're there to sell. Is there, again, a whole nother market here? Let's talk about what's happening with COVID. The new market in COVID is you take your product to the customer. Okay? Is there anybody possibly doing that now? What if you were to knock on doors and find out what the needs are of the people in your area and find out that they all have a need that fits what you want to do? They just don't all have the ability to go to the market all the time to do that, and et cetera. And now I'll take my product to you directly. I'll sell to you direct. You don't even have to deal with the normal marketplace at all. You already have a set number of customers that every time you are ready to go to market, you know exactly where all the products are going to go and why.
And I think that is one of the challenges that we have when we fail to study the market. Because when we fail to study the market, you'll be having the product, but you do not know whom you're going to sell to. Yes, I understand that there are some dynamics that may change in the process of the production moment, but it would be good if before I start producing, I already have a target market so that I don't end up having the chicken or the watermelon or whatever product that I produced, but there is no market that I'm going to. So it calls for openness for me to study the market, which is biblical. We have an Old Testament story about Moses sending the spies to go and spy the land. They want to take the land. They want to spy that land to see, who lives there, how fortified it is. And in the New Testament, Jesus is saying, you don't embark in building a structure without having the necessary, doing the costing, or the rest you'll not be in a position to do it completely and people will be laughing at you. So what I'm saying is that I think you're encouraging or teaching us to be in a position to study the market, the changes in the market so that we can,
Yeah, so two things that I would say as practical examples on this. So let's say you are vegetable farming.
Sure.
You have an abundance of tomatoes. You don't have enough people that are ready to buy the tomatoes right now. The market's not showing, and etc. What happens to your tomatoes?
They will rot, and instead of me looking for that to be wasted, that's what you're encouraging me to. With that, my niche or my needs can be where I live, but I can expand it by outsourcing the market further, and so that I don't end up having a loss because they'll rot.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like when we were speaking about the chicken, that if there is an age whereby when they grow and you don't sell them and they're just getting far, they'll start up, dropping
so
and dying.
That would be my next example.
Sure.
But the point I'm trying to say is that you've spent a lot of time, you've put in a lot of work, you've produced a lot of product, but if you have nowhere for it to go,
So you need to know your market.
got to know your
This
market.
is why we're talking about market research, which leads to the next one. Are you competitive?
Yeah, so one of the first things going to happen is you're going to have a certain amount of market, and you're going to know that that market has a certain saturation, we'll call it, point and et cetera, and they're all in there competing for the same customers, et cetera. So you've got two choices. You try to find a different market to compete in, or you're going to have to see how you stack up against your competition. And that's going to be whether you have a better product than they do, so people would prefer yours, especially if price is the same. I'll seek you out. I'll be looking for Peter's Poultry because Peter's Poultry is known to be healthier chickens, fatter chickens, better taken care of, vaccinated, chickens. You'll be the first one everybody wants to go to. And so even if there's not a large supply, okay, you're the number one person that they're going to go to. That obviously would be a good competitive advantage that you would have.
Grant, I will say that Debbie and I love Chick-fil-A. I don't go all that much because it's kind of pricey. But it's the best sandwich out there, hands down. No one comes even close. And I think most of America feels that, or at least where Chick-fil-A is that it's such a superior product, they're willing to pay a little bit more.
Yeah. And, we want our guests and our customers to be people that come often, pay full price, and they actually become the main marketers of our business, right? So they come often, they pay full price, and they tell us, so they give us feedback, and they tell others about Chick-fil-A. So that's how we create raving fans. We just don't want customers. We want people that absolutely love us to where, hey, they'll pass 30 chicken farmers on the way, or chicken businesses on the way to your business because of how you treat them and because of the little things that you do that distinguish you from the rest of the businesses, And so I think, that's sort of how we do it at Chick-fil-A. The reality is we could actually charge probably a lot more, but that's the thing. That's the balance. It's hey, we want to charge a fair price, but we also realize that hey, people are willing to pay even more often than not. They're willing to pay more than what they're paying.
And very interesting, Grant, Bob, too. Are you competitive? So we've got a Chick-fil-A here in town. Right down the road, a brand new chicken salad place opened up. But they don't do sandwiches. I mean, they do sandwiches, but they've got 12 different types of chicken salads that they market. And I think that's kind of their niche, I guess, is a variety. You guys have one product. It is incredible. I remember when we brought some Kenyans over here and we had a video of the woman taking her first bite. I mean, she's just like, this is so amazing. I mean, it's an incredible sandwich. And now you got a competition.
I wanted to stop there every day when she was here.
Yeah. But now right down the road, it's a spin-off of the chicken. It's now 12 different types of chicken salads. So are you competitive? You can take a product and tweak it and work it in a different way and still be able to have competition.
And they're smart because they don't have the resources, the business owners, the capacity to do what we do. So they found something, hey, that we're not doing. We don't have a chicken salad sandwich. So they found something that we're not doing, and they've really leveraged that as the main component of their business. And it's smart because in general, a lot of people that go there, or a lot of people that come to us, we're not stealing them from them. The people that go to that place want chicken salad, which is, again, a smaller segment of people, very unique, but they don't have to worry so much about competition with us.
Yeah. So, kind of side note to this, but we're talking competition. So, your main competition isn't necessarily another chicken sandwich or a chicken business. Your main competition here in the U.S. would be a hamburger.
Right.
Okay. Why does Chick-fil-A not start making hamburgers?
I think what we want to do is we want to differentiate ourselves, and I think when it comes down to it, there's a point where you realize by adding up more products, you end up trying to become a jack of all trades rather than being very focused and good at what you do. So our thing is chicken. We've seen that it works. We could probably go into the beef market and honestly do amazing. But I think so much of our marketing and so much of what we do is so tied to the chicken sandwich that we don't want to get distracted by these other possibilities. We want to do really well at what we do, and we want to do it better than anybody else.
Plus, would ruin their entire advertising.
Well, kind of the point I'm trying to make is that you're not necessarily going to be able to be the best chicken business and the best hamburger business all in one business. Okay.
Right.
So you're saying in being competitive, focus.
Focus. Focus in. Know your direct competition. If you have to tweak it a little bit to be able to stay inside that market or whatever and find yourself a niche, that's fine. That's great. But, understand that if you try to become the best chicken and the best goat and the best rabbit person all in one kind of thing, it's going to be very, 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 I'm not going to say impossible, very hard. Very
So,
tough.
Peter, let me just tell you, here in America, we have a company that started up another egg company of just selling eggs, and they put a little label on the egg. They stamp it EB Best or
Yeah, something
like that, but they charge more because the egg's a little bit bigger, and because of their stamp, it's healthier and better for you. That's their marketing, at least. Yeah. But it's selling. It's selling, and a lot of it's in the marketing of it. Knowing your little niche, marketing that. If we have a better product, we can charge more, and we have to let people know they buy it.
Yeah, I think eggs laid by free-range chicken.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be better. I don't know.
I think what I'm hearing Grant saying is that here I have a guest or even a stranger. How do I make this guest or a stranger my customer? And how do I gradually transform this customer to be my marketer? That whenever he goes out, he'll speak about my product. I'm not necessarily going to lose this customer, but he is going even to bring more to me. So these are some of the things that I'm learning of what you're communicating, because this customer will be in a position to convince others about what I'm offering.
If you have the best chicken in the market, the quality is the best, they're the healthiest, etc., word will get out very quickly.
Sure.
Very quickly.
Another unique thing, you brought up the tomato example. There might be times where, hey, I tried to do the best planning I could, but I have this product and I don't know what to do with it because there's no one to sell it to. I don't want it to spoil. What could we do with that to create raving fans? Why don't we go give 10 families an entire bag of tomatoes for free? Hey, I'm selling right down there. I just wanted to bless you with these tomatoes. Would appreciate your business anytime you want to come and purchase from me. I'd love to serve you, but in the meantime, here's some free. Hey, you were gonna lose those tomatoes anyway, so it's no really cost to you. It is in the overproduction, but you would have lost that anyway. So why not leverage those free tomatoes as a way to bless people, but also create fans of your business and create customers that want to come back.
And I've personally done that through watermelon. By taking watermelon, a part of my harvest when it's too much, taking it to a special school, kids with special with some disabilities, and taking another to an orphanage. And you've just reminded me that we don't have to look at it being wasted. When we can be a blessing to another people, and you don't know whether that person whom you have been a blessing to will make a reference of you or of your business to another person.
Also, as you're doing that, though, God is watching.
Sure.
And it's God who blesses our businesses. He says in the Old Testament, Deuteronomy, I'm the one who blesses you.
Yeah.
And so as you are taking care of the poor, you are taking care of the needy, God is going to bring you customers. Where'd those people come from? I don't know, but they're here. Let's serve. And he has his way of blessing you.
Sure. Thank you.
So, Bob, next up, we have, do you measure up? What do you mean by that?
Again, kind of touched on this to some degree, but does your business measure up to the expectations that your customers need? I asked them what their needs are, and et cetera. Are you meeting that need? Are you measuring up to what is expected of you? That measurement can be a lot of things. So let's say that you do go to these people and you convince them to buy eggs from you on a consistent basis. I'll buy so many every week, et cetera. Okay, 1 week goes by and you don't have any eggs to give them, or less than what they wanted or needed, okay, because you did not do all the things you needed to do to get the proper production and et cetera.
Yeah.
So when you're unable to deliver your product the amount they need, what happens to that customer?
Goes away.
It goes away.
They find somebody else who can meet the need.
This is also in the area of customer service. I was just at a store, Verizon store, and I walked in there, and the guy said, you know, how can we help you? He said very firmly, step outside. I'm like, what? He said, put your mask on. What? So I had to put my mask on and step outside. He said, there's too many people in there, and if you're going to wait, there's 4 people in front of you, and it's a 30-minute wait. I said, I'm out of here. And the guy treated me like I was the enemy. Get out of here. Put your mask on. And so there's one example of customer service that doesn't measure up. I was like, I don't want anything to do with this store. And then another analogy happened at a Chick-fil-A store. So we during COVID, we called in our order. We tell them where we parked. They bring it out. We drive away, get home. Something was missing. Oh, we're not going to drive all the way back there just for these small little things. But I texted them, and they were very gracious. Here's a free sandwich. Here's a free drink, and please come in anytime for that. So even when you do mess up, sometimes you can make up for it in other areas. And so customer service, go ahead, Grant.
I was just going to say, yeah, sometimes the people that we make the biggest mistakes with can actually become our best customers because they're angry. And I think sometimes when somebody's angry, it gives us the best opportunity to meet their needs, and then they actually become some of your biggest raving fans. So that's a good point.
Bob, next is and last is conveniently located. Let's talk about that. Why is location so important?
We say in the U.S. that the 3 most important things to consider in marketing for your business is location, location, and location. It is extremely important that you are located in a position to be convenient, highly seen. You know, a lot of factors come into play what you'll notice in the U.S., for example, automobile dealerships. One thing you can count on about an automobile dealership, it's usually on the corner. It's usually in the middle of the city or the town that it's in. It literally is sitting on some of the highest dollar piece of property in that area, okay? Because it understands how important as location, convenience, and etc. to people. So your location and how conveniently located is going to be a big help to you as far as your marketing your business, but also for you for your expenses and etc. If you have to go too far, what is the chances that you have issues with your product spoiling, heat, all kinds of different variables and etc. Just cost of moving the product. For us in the States, if you have to ship it, if you have to send it by truck, this, that, and the other, you're going to have costs involved in that. And the further away, the more it's going to cost you and come out of the profits of your business. So you would like to, as much as possible, conveniently locate yourself. If you're talking about literally going to your customers and serving them door to door, you obviously want to be as conveniently located to those people as you possibly can, or you won't have enough day to service all your people. So we have always said in the location is a very, very big key to the marketing of any business.
One of the key things, Peter, is I'm trying to be an entrepreneur, think as a Kenyan. If I've got a quality product, I'm a little outside of the main area. Teaming up, not with a Matatu. Who are the motorcycle guys?
Boda Boda.
Boda Boda?
Yeah.
Boda Boda?
Yeah.
So teaming up with one or two Boda Bodas.
Yes.
I'm going to give you X amount of money if you will deliver this. And then all of a sudden you've opened your range up. Maybe you had to charge a little bit more, but he gets a little piece, you get the majority of it, and then all of a sudden you've got a business going. You're helping them,
Sure.
and you're expanding your location, your area of service to the people. So there are creative things that you can do to expand if you are not conveniently located.
Yeah. So another good example for here is in the States, maybe you have similar examples. It would be if you had a gas station and you are right off of the main highway. Those gas stations charge 5 cents, sometimes more per gallon for gasoline, even though there's another one down from them like less than 1 mile. Because the convenience of being right off the highway, so you can get your gas and get back on the highway and get back doing what you're doing, they actually charge you because of that convenience, because of the location they have.
Okay, Bob, we're talking about market research. We've gone over a couple of things. Number one, do you know your market? You've got to know what's out there, know what your competition is. Do you understand the needs of your customer? Sometimes that may mean going door to door, talking to people, finding out their needs. 3, do you know where they live? So you've got to have a good understanding of the area you're servicing. Are you competitive? What are the prices? What are other people doing? Do you measure up? Do you have a quality product? Is it something that someone's going to say, I'd rather have that guy, he's a little bit more expensive, but the quality is so much better. You're conveniently located. All of that in the area of market research. Bob, are you going to ask these pastors to do market research?
Absolutely. We want them to do everything we're talking about in the business plan. I want to know why you picked the business you picked, and the way that you support how you decided that business is going to tell us that you've done this market research, so you know how that product is going to be competitive, where it's going to be sold, who your customers are that you're going to sell that product. All those things we need to know prior to doing an investment with you.
So get ready to do your homework. You're now listening. I encourage you to listen to these more than one time, hopefully 2 or 3 different times. But listen to these. Learn. You're going to have to answer to this man or that man. What is your market research? What are you doing? We do that because we want you to be successful. Success takes work. This is not a gift in kind where God is just going to bless it so much that you'll never have to worry. No, it's going to take a lot of hard work, and a lot of that's done before you even get the first dollar that's put into your pocket. You've got to do a lot of work. So God bless you. This was video number 5. We look forward to the next one with you. Thanks.